Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you guys came back to join us in the saga of Letecia Stauch, finding the truth to Gannon. And so far, it has been, oh my gosh, a show, a performance. Today brought that out. I really like the FBI profiler. He's doing such a good job. I honestly think they came on to have like they were bonding. I said that earlier to uh, Jeannie. I was like, I really think they're bonding, which is so bizarre. I think she thought he bought into her story, which we all know is such baloney. Hello, Mama.
I thought you were sunburned. Show me some sunburn.
I put sunblock on my face. I'm not
Oh,
trying
so
to
it's on
age.
other parts. Okay, so I
Yes,
need to see.
other parts.
So I
The
need to
part.
see some other parts. Then let's go. Bring
Yes.
it on.
Yeah. No. I hurt. I hurt below my face. Like I'm always trying to get my body tan, but oh my god, I regret it. Made it to the chat. Oh, hi, Kim, hi, and Jeannie, Samantha. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Samantha. Hey, Mooney. How are you?
Oh my gosh. It's such a beautiful day here. It's so warm. It's 80 something and the pool is just I sent you a picture. There were so many people out
Yes.
by the pool. It was so beautiful. I didn't want to leave.
She sent me. Well, to be clear, she sent me a picture of the pool with a text that said that Leticia was ruining her serenity. So yeah, that was the whole thing there.
She's ruining my serenity because I was listening to the court case as I was laying there and I'm just like I think this is
Yeah.
probably the most honest she's been. You know what I mean? Because he said
Yeah.
early on, if you don't want to answer the question, then just say I don't want to answer. Don't tell me a lie. Just say you don't want to answer, which
It,
is
well, because
brilliant.
he was trying to impress upon her. It is actually a felony to lie to a federal agent. It's
Right.
not like when you just talk to the cops or you talk to Al. When you lie to me, each time I'm gonna tick a little box, and I'm
Right.
gonna go back and I'm gonna charge you.
That's
You know?
that's like the carrot he's hanging over him. Like he always tried to be a step of ahead of her because she would tell some elaborate story about whatever and
Yeah.
he's like that's not what you text. That's not your earlier message. Like he
Yeah.
just is so on top of it. I love that guy. I don't know who he is, but oh my gosh,
John
brilliant.
Grusing. John Grusing. And when he came in, he was talking about Dylan Redwine. That was the case that he was
Oh,
mentioning. And I was like,
no way.
yes, he was talking about the Dylan Redwine case. And I was like, oh, look at him bringing that up. He worked on Dylan Redwine. He worked on Suzanne Morphew. He is a big deal. And he was sitting there and he was telling her, I'm not bragging, but you have someone important. I was thinking, and I was even telling the TV, Leticia, you got the big guns.
Right.
If you need quote unquote help, the help is here.
They're right in front of you. But I
Yep.
love how he's so smart
Mhm.
because Leticia always played the upper card. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I have what you want
Yep.
and so I'm going to dangle it in front of you. But then he kept on coming back to his credentials. I've solved bank robberies. I've worked on
Yep.
serial killer cases, although he wasn't allowed to say serial killer cases, but we all
Yeah,
know the
right,
sidebar was all about. So he couldn't bring those exact
right.
words up, but
Yeah.
he always came back to his credentials. Like Yes.
Kind of like he was telling her, "You cannot manipulate me. It is
Yes.
not going to work no matter what you say. I am one step above you, and I have figured you out."
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you have to think about this. I was realizing this. It hit me all of a sudden. On Friday, I sat there and it seemed like it took me 25 hours to listen to all those phone calls. Because if
Yes.
you remember, I hadn't finished them by the time we did our live on Friday. So
Right.
here I
Right.
was Friday night, all night long listening to calls. And I got to the end and they said, "Okay, we're going to save one for Monday." And my husband was like, "No, you're telling me you have one on Monday too?" And
No, yeah, we knew it was going to be 5 hours, but I
but
love the format of today.
but no, I was thinking about this. Grusing had to listen to all of those too. He had to listen to all of them. They didn't play all of them in court. They
Right.
said they were
Right.
like, what did they say, 20 hours of phone calls? We didn't have to listen to them, but he did. So he listened to all of her phone calls. He watched her interview. He knows her inside and out. And he was trying to tell her, "You can't get above me. I'm on top. You can't get above me."
Exactly.
You know?
He always played like the I'm a little bit smarter than you. I get what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense. Like he always went back to like reality. I get what you're saying, but that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And her story's never dead, right?
No.
Just like that famous saying, I have no idea where she comes up with all these stories. And poor Al had to sit there and pretend he bought it. I loved you saying, "I'm in," what was it? "I'm in by
I mean,
Leticia mode today," or
oh, I'm in believe Tisha mode.
believe Leticia mode today. And I was like, poor Al. Like, poor.
But then at a moment he said, "But now I'm in I don't believe Tisha mode."
Yeah, finally he was like, "That's it. I'm out of I believe Tish mode." Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, that's right, Mooney. She was outmatched by this agent. She absolutely was.
Oh my gosh. And when they said, "We'll stop recording," and that was a whole thing, and "Don't stop recording," he's like, "Look, I'll tell them to back off if that's what you need to tell me the truth." And she
Yeah.
still.
Mm. And I loved how she said, "I need help. I need help she was like, "I know that I can help you. I can help me to help you, to help you. I
Yes.
need help to help me to help you to help you." I'm like, "Woman,
Seriously.
yeah, you need some help."
I took some notes. Let me see what I got.
Oh
All
Lord,
right.
girl. Do you know I am on my second notebook? That means I have taken over. Let me see, child. Let's see how many pages are in these books. She's in book 2. Oh my goodness, there are 70 sheets in this.
Good
Oh,
Lord.
run back.
I think I started taking notes halfway through because the beginning was kind of like the same old that we've heard, or the same
Sure.
lies in the same
Yep.
circles.
Yep.
But then he said he's likely dead. Gannon's likely dead. She moves on to "You are making assumptions."
Yeah.
As a parent, would you want to hear that? Keywords. What you want to hear is what I wrote down, because
Yeah.
she's always so calculated of what you want to hear. And he kept on saying, "It's not about making me happy or what I want to hear, it's what actually happened."
Yeah. And she did not like him discussing what happened in that house.
I
Boy,
know.
she was like, whatever happened, she at the beginning, it was what happened in the house has nothing to do with that. And then all of a sudden it was, "Oh, well, you can cover up those cameras." But that what happened, the stuff in the house had nothing to do with it. Are
Right.
you kidding me?
I know. Like,
Like,
there's this uh uh whole conspiracy, this something that's made for movies conspiracy was going on, where they covered cameras and blah blah blah. Girl, hey, no, you lived a suburban life, nobody believes you.
um, I went back and I watched I started watching the defense's opening statement again. I tried. I got 7 minutes in. That's all I could do. But he said a couple of things. What happened to that little 11-year-old boy is beyond description. And then he
Yes.
said, "Who gives a shit what happens to Miss Stauch?" See, I like that. That made me like him, and then I had to turn it off. That's all I
Point taken.
got.
Done. Pause.
But
Next.
oh, okay. So people asked on Friday about the end of testimony. Did Al ask about adopting Harley? And I have answers. I went back and I listened, and yes, he did. On day 10, when they played the recording at 1:48:38, he said, she said, that's because it isn't one of yours. And he said, "Don't even start with me on that, because I begged you to let me adopt that child for five
Harley.
years so you could shove that one up your ass right now."
Right.
So
Right.
he said he begged her for 5 years to adopt her. And people also ask about Chance, Leticia's
X.
husband. Um, he was born in 1980 in Baltimore, Maryland, but his people are also from Lumberton, which is where Letitia's from. And what I could tell you is his toxicology report had alprazolam, which is Xanax, THC, fentanyl, hydrocodone, and alcohol.
Oh,
He,
Jesus.
he truly, truly overdosed.
Right.
Yeah. And the
This
other
wasn't
thing,
a. Yeah.
yeah, no, it wasn't a questionable. Did he overdose? Did he maybe? No,
Right.
no. And the other thing from Friday was I had said that Al had questioned her about getting struggling to get to the car. It wasn't that. The word he used was sluggish. And he said, "Tisha, you hit the nail on the head. When I cut the tip of my finger off and I was losing blood, you're right, I was sluggish. Just like he was sluggish." Because I think at the time, Al believed that Gannon had lost a lot of blood in the house and then was sluggish going out to the car. It's, some of us believe other things, but okay, so that was from
She
Friday.
she never claimed that there was blood in the house. She kept on diverting them. I don't know why you're
Yeah.
focusing on the house. Why is that? The one consistent story she's came up with is there was a candle incident
Yeah.
and nothing happened in the house. I don't know
Oh,
why she like every other story changes, but that's one that she's consistent. We know there was a candle thing.
did you
Not
exactly? And did you get to how she said they all agreed to make the story sound worse? The fire?
who's they?
She said that all of them, that the kids, that all of them were in her room, Harley, Lena, Gannon, and her, and they all decided to make the fire story sound worse. They wanted Al to come home, and they all agreed to make the fire story sound worse than it actually was. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then 2 seconds later, after she told him it's so smoky in there they couldn't breathe, she said they couldn't breathe many times. She kept saying it. And she said it was so smoky in the house they couldn't breathe. And then she still lets Gannon go down there and sleep down there where it's smoky, and the
Yeah,
rest of them sleep upstairs. And she said, "Well,
let's
we
say
couldn't,
goodnight to him. Yeah,
yeah, we couldn't fit, all of us on the bed with the dogs."
right.
I love animals and I love dogs, and yes, I would have my dogs on my bed, but my kid would be there first.
Yeah.
Oh, Lauren said she's always got a unicorn, mermaid, or yeti, maybe a mountain lion. Cal said that, Cal, if it's not a mountain lion, perhaps it is what was it that Peterson said? Peterson said it was an owl that got him.
Yeah.
And then don't forget, Redwine said that a bear killed his child. So there you go. Maybe she needed to look towards an animal. I don't know.
Anything to take off the pressure from her.
Well, don't forget, before we get to talk about the pregnant lady, because we really need to
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
her. She was talking about something today, and it really sparked something in me. He asked her, what was your biggest disagreement with Gannon? And she said, "I couldn't get him to see the light." And she was talking about how Gannon would say, "It's okay if mommy doesn't have money." And she said, I would say, maybe I shouldn't say, well, if she didn't spend it on this, she would have it. She kept at him, trying to get him to, think mommy was bad. And that would put that child at odds with his natural instincts. Their natural instincts is
Yeah,
that mommy is good. We've talked about this. Even if mommy is abusing you, mommy is good.
right.
And it happens when parents get split up. One parent talks bad about the other, but there she was saying that was their biggest disagreement because she couldn't get him to see the light. That his mom was bad. So I bet that pissed her off even more
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
she said, there I was the one that was taking care of everything and doing everything, and he thought that his mom was great. Yeah. Mm.
There's so many holes in her story. It's unbelievable. Like, it's just, she just keeps talking and it doesn't make any sense. And the new guy was like, basically just that. I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense.
How many times has she told anybody that we've listened to that she does not have a mental issue? She told us she has no
Yes.
mental issues. She's never been in counseling. She said, I have a little bit of anxiety, but never counseling or anything like that. And she also said that the counseling that Gannon had was just to help him deal with the transition because of the schools and such. Nothing about her. Remember that. Because
Right.
when they bring their case, they're going to say that Gannon's counseling had to do with her. So don't forget that when she brings that up.
Oh, exactly. It's
Yeah,
not because of me, just focusing the blame somewhere else.
exactly.
Always redirecting
Yep.
Oliver.
Yep.
Freaking lies. Yeah. But I do like the format today. It was because I'm so sick of hearing her voice. And when they
Yeah.
did like play a session and then play the
Talk to him.
the CSI guy, it's like, this is what she meant. This is
Yep.
what my strategy was. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so smart.
Yep.
Are you single?
Yep. Would you like for me to contact Agent Cruises for you? I could do that.
Is he on Match.com?
I could
No,
find out, my research knows no bounce child. I could do that.
no, he's so smart. I love it. I love it. I really do. I think
Yeah.
he played into being dumb when he needed to, and then he played smart.
Yeah.
As far as
Exactly.
explaining his credentials and you
Well,
know
yeah. Yeah.
you can't pull the wool over my eyes. You can keep
Mm-mm.
trying, but
Yeah, and like she came in the beginning and said, "I need help. I need help from like the FBI, the DEA, the ATF," and he was like, "The DEA can't do that. They investigate. They're great, but the FBI has the power." He made it
right,
sound like, and technically, if you needed witness protection, it would be through the FBI. He's right, and technically, with a missing 11-year-old, if she needed witness protection, truly, it would be through them.
right,
It was exactly right, but it was funny how she kind of did it. She kind of said it like, "Oh, well, I need this and you can't do it. So, well, I guess we can't talk." You know?
yeah, exactly. Whenever the heat got on her, she's like, she backed off a little bit. She had a lot to say until they like questioned her, like, this doesn't make sense. And then she's like, ugh, I need
Yeah.
somebody I trust.
Yeah, yeah. And she was like, "Well, this you said that I could have someone come sit in with me, the lawyer." And he was like, "You absolutely can." And that's when the court system takes over. Because I'm sorry, Leticia, but that's what happens when you say the word lawyer. That FBI agent walks right out of the room. They don't sit there next to you and give you advice while you talk to the pleasant FBI agent. It
Yeah,
just doesn't work. That's what she seemed like she wanted. Like she wanted, a lawyer to come sit with her, and I don't know, get her a deal. Is that what she's looking for there?
Yeah, I need protection. I need protection. That's all she kept on saying through the whole thing.
Yeah,
And what's
exactly.
funny is he was like, I could give people new identities, but it's not my role. I would send them on to the person that could. But
Yeah,
of course, she didn't fit in that box at all.
exactly. Well, and he said too, oh, excuse me, he said too, you would have to tell me what happened. You know, she'd have to
Right.
tell him who she needed protection from. I mean, come on, woman. What does she think they're just gonna like bring in some forms? Okay, you're in witness protection. Now tell us the story. No, that's a little backwards.
And that's what she kept on spitting it. And he's like, I'm not going to answer these questions for you.
Right? Exactly.
Like, you're going to have to answer these questions. Oh my God, it was unreal. And what's funny is like, he started talking about kids and testifying and blah blah blah. Like he really was pulling at my heartstrings, and I'm like, and I already know what I know now, where she pled guilty by reason of insanity. So that means that she actually did it, and so I know that now. And so I'm looking back on these interrogations, and I'm like, oh my God, just tell him what he wants to know. Like, and
At
I'm
that
like, "Oh my
right,
god, if that was me, I would never survive."
you're
Because
at that right at that point they didn't know that he was dead. Well, they knew, but
right,
you're doing the Titanic thing, which is what I did.
right,
I do that when I'm watching things like that. Like I do this, like, oh, just come on, she'll tell him. Come on, she'll tell him. Like I
right.
have that like hope and that wish, even though I know that the ship is going down. I know it is.
I
You
know,
know,
yeah,
I know that Jack and Rose are not going to live happily ever after. I know this, but
right.
but
You have
still,
hope, you have
I
hope.
still, I do. I still have hope. I have those Titanic moments all the time. I was having one Friday, I think it was, or no, it was. I think it was earlier today. I told my husband I was having one, and he just shook his head and walked away. He just laughed at me. But yeah, I do that. I think maybe she'll do that. Maybe she'll tell him, and yeah, you think about what could have been different, but at that point, nothing could have been different because she had already taken his body to Florida. You know?
Right, right. And what's funny is they made the comment that he's now in the Gulf of Mexico because she was hoping that that suitcase would float to the Gulf of Mexico, but it didn't. It
Yep.
landed, it sunk, and it
It
didn't go
just
anywhere.
stayed there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it went absolutely nowhere.
right. Bad positioning. Sorry, Leticia.
Exactly.
He's probably in Mexico. And
Which
it's like, what?
that worries me, right? That's the second case that you and I have had where someone has dropped a baby in a suitcase or a tote off the side of a bridge and it didn't go where they thought it was going to go. How many people are doing that? How many people are just dumping babies off the side of
Oh my gosh, we seen that woman just like a freaking garbage bag, like leftover food.
Oh yes,
Oh,
oh yes, our
so you
favorite
gotta,
Ellen.
yeah, so you gotta imagine it's happening more than people are discovering, it's happening.
Yep, exactly. That's what I worry about. That's what I think. I think every time we find one, what aren't we finding?
Yeah.
Which ones are going to the Gulf of Mexico? Yeah.
And that's what she was claiming. He's probably in Mexico because she kept on going with the the one guy, the second guy, not Eduardo, but is it
Quincy
Eugene?
Brown, poor Quincy
Quincy.
Brown.
Yeah, Quincy Brown. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm wanted. Why are you fucking with me?
Exactly. Quincy Brown, I know you're a really bad guy, but I'm really sorry she brought you into this.
His name is out there. He's hiding nowhere.
Ever.
Never. He's like, oh my God, I was just trying to hide out in Mexico. Why are you bringing my name into this? And he has
Yeah,
the FBI looking for him. He's like, what is going on?
yeah, yeah.
Hello, Lindar Love. Cindy, hello.
Did you see that
Tina.
name? I like that. It's called Eat It Stacy. I like that. That's cool. Hello, Tina Powers and Cindy Dalton. Hello, love. Leonard Love. Hello, Leonard Love. Hey, guys. Hi, everybody.
Been in the sun all day long. I'm exhausted. Oh, it's such a beautiful day out. I couldn't help myself. And I'm like, oh, you guys set the alarm. My niece and nephew, I'm like, set the alarm. Make sure I'm up for my live. It was so beautiful outside. It's like the real first day where it got to the 80s. It's been so much rain
So
here in LA.
Kim cooked her brain into a raisin, so we're gonna have to rehydrate her and kind of prop her up tonight.
Exactly.
So what else? Let me see. I have well, you know I have notes here. So I don't know. Let me see what else.
She talked about his injuries and
yes.
And
she did. She was talking about the injuries to his face.
Right.
You know, the what was it, the mouth, I'll have to pull it up, but his mouth and his nose and then his face just bleeding.
Right.
And you know, that's her really telling what happened. Even though she's not telling what happened. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think there was anything at all credible about the the pregnant lady phone call. I mean, I went through all of it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Not one bit of it. I mean,
but she did do a Google search of my husband wants kids, but I want an abortion. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't what. And so if he had, okay, gonna be a little graphic here, but if he had, okay, I'm just gonna, okay, if he'd had sex with her, spent the night with her, pretended to be her husband, then she'd tell him Morgana that was the condition. Really? But like
everything is, I'm gonna hold it any carrot she has, the smallest dangle of a carrot. She's just holding it in front of whomever's face is in front of her, which is disgusting.
It was, she described bleeding from the head, hands, and knees, then blood pouring from his face.
Yeah. But the Google searches is my son bleeding or bleeding from an arterial blood spray from an arterial bleed. It's like, what? Excuse me? And then he said, my stepson doesn't like me. And I don't know if those messages were actually real or if he went into what the real text messages were. I'm not happy in my marriage. Why isn't the real mom doing what she's supposed to? You know, he like said those messages, which I've never seen before. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Maybe they're holding that.
They didn't release it. They haven't released it. Yeah.
Yeah. But if she actually, they moved on. So I'm kind of thinking that it wasn't real.
What, you think that he was making them
because
up?
he knows that there was an arterial bleed, and so that was her way of saying yes, there was, for whatever reason, but it didn't actually happen.
I missed it.
She said that never happened. And then they went on to why isn't the real mom taking care of them or whatever, and she said, yes, I did text that. And we know that she did text that because we had the affidavit which said that she did.
The ones we saw, she admitted to.
Right. And then he threw in a couple others that said, you know, I don't get along with my stepson. You deleted those messages, but we got them. And she's like, that's not true. That didn't happen. So I don't know if it did or didn't happen.
Well, maybe if they were deleted, we didn't see them. I don't know. But I mean, he can lie to her. He absolutely can.
Yeah, right, right.
I mean, it is. It's not unheard of. I'm just surprised that I'm not. Where did I? Okay, first I'm wondering where this was. I don't know how I missed it, but um, I'm surprised that the prosecutor didn't ask him about it. Like, did you make that up? And but then again, it doesn't really matter. I think the point was to get her to what she had said. Um,
I just don't think it was true. He was trying to get her to explain it even though it didn't happen. So
yeah,
that's why I question if that really happened because we had so many text messages and that one is clearly
yeah,
a loaded gun. So
yeah.
we didn't get that earlier on. So I'm kind of thinking that it wasn't true. That's when I text you and I'm like,
Right.
do you really believe him
Gotcha. Yeah.
that she really did text those? She was thinking it. As a
Oh,
profiler,
absolutely.
yeah, as a profiler, he's understanding the mind of her. I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing all this for your children. They're not stepping up. And then she was Googling how to find a rich husband, how to find a rich husband where I could take care of their kids and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
it,
what were you, Nancy? What were you saying? What I didn't hear? What on that? Are you talking about the bleeding from the head, hands, and knees? That was when Grusig first started talking. He said that she talked about that, and so he thought that was something she was. That they believe that was part of her telling the truth of what happened with Gannon. Talking about him bleeding from his head, hands, and knees, and then blood pouring from his face. That was something that Agent Grising said. It wasn't something that she said. It was something that he said. Um, what else? Oh, hi, Jennifer Dobbins and Steve Frampton. And Jennifer Dobbins, I did see the judge roll his eyes, and I thought I was losing my mind. I rewound it twice, and I thought, well, maybe he's just got like an eyelash in there or something. But did you see it, Kim? Did you see the judge roll his eyes? Do we lose Kim? Hello? Maybe we lost her for a minute. I did see that, and I thought I was losing my mind. I thought, there's no way that she would do that. But yeah, I did see that. And no, I don't think she deserves to be called a stepmom. And she's definitely not a bonus mom. Hi, Miss Elise. How are you? Yeah. Are you back, Kim? She's there somewhere. Yep, she's in there somewhere. I can hear
I'm here.
her. Okay. Did you see the judge rolling his eyes?
Um, no, but
Yeah.
I was mostly listening today. I had my earbuds on,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I wasn't really watching it because I knew it was this just them back and forth, but I could see that.
Yeah.
I was rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh,
give
yeah.
me a better story.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Um, there was a whole lot in the very beginning of her explaining that I've been taking care of the kids for so long. I've protected them from so many different people. I've done, and with Leticia, it's always I. But
Oh yeah,
today
for sure.
it was so much of that she's taking care of the kids, and it really bothered me every time that somebody asks about Gannon. She describes him as a really sweet kid. She talks
She
about how kind he is, and oh, she did say that Nana and Poppy were great people, always came to get him on weekends. Then I could do whatever I needed to do, if I wanted to go shopping or whatever. She acts like, I don't know, that she was taking care of 20 kids. This extra one kid, Gannon, was so much trouble. Not Lena, Gannon. Lena
yeah,
was younger. She would require more work, I would assume. But yeah, every time she talks about him, it's just he's such a sweet kid, and then what she did to him and how much it took to kill him. I mean, it took so much.
there is way too much evidence to prove that it wasn't burns. It wasn't a cut on the foot. It wasn't um, a, a bike ride accident.
Oh,
It was none of that.
right.
And today I think she conceded to the fact that it didn't happen that way, but she
Yeah.
wasn't willing to actually give him any information. I don't think she lied a lot today, but I don't think she told as many stories because he asked about the Mexico guy. What's his name again? Not Eduardo, but Eugene, not
Quincy Brown.
Quincy Brown. And he's like, we disproved that right away. We already know he's in Mexico. And she's like, you know for sure he's in Mexico.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Oops.
and he's like, yeah, we know. We anything you say, we follow up on.
Yeah.
And so she just didn't really.
No, I think part of it, I'm not sure if it's because we know she has no problem lying to the police, right? She did the whole Eduardo crying like a baby story, right?
Right.
And she pinned that sexual assault to a T, right?
Right.
Like she had the descriptors, she had it. So we know she has no problem lying to the police on a big scale. So it maybe it's that it's his presence and how much he knows. Maybe she realized, I don't know, maybe she does realize that it is a felony to lie to the FBI, so she is cutting back on her lies because she doesn't seem to be telling him many that he could prove anyway.
I think he outsmarted her. She found somebody that will really he was honest, down to earth. I'll do whatever you want. I'll get rid of the people behind the screen. I'll he was genuine.
Yeah.
He's like, I did this, I did that. And, he was, I can't protect you. I can't promise you anything. He was upfront and he didn't make any guarantees of what's going to happen. He was just like, this is what it is. You're here because of this. And I think that honesty instead, because she can see right through deception because she's thick as thieves with deception. She identifies with it. And just when I thought he was getting there, and even myself, I was like, because I know what I know now, I was like, I would crack. I would be like, whatever you want to know, because, and she didn't. She didn't. And I was like, I think she's outsmarting him. I don't know how, but she gets the questions and she challenges them all. She is not new to manipulation. Like she has been doing it beyond, way beyond this crime. Even though she's never did a crime like this, she is not new at deception at all. And I think it really showed because he's chose this profession, and at points she really was kind of in the lead where she would direct it back to asking him questions. And he's like, this isn't you or me telling you what happened. This is you telling me what happened. I know nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. Jennifer Dobbins was saying, I didn't like that Leticia said, if he were here right now, he would do anything you asked, bring you anything you wanted without question. Weird, make me think she expects to be served like a queen. Yeah.
Yes.
And he said a lot about Gannon's character, what kind of kid he was. We talked about that before. He wasn't the kind of kid that, would, if you said, hey, can you grab me a drink? He wouldn't, oh, gosh. He wouldn't complain. He would just,
right.
Go do it.
Right.
So oh no, go ahead.
Ashley said a liar knows a liar, and I think that's why he kept it real for the most part. He wanted to bring he wanted to be honest with everything. It is what it is. The prosecutor's right behind the window. I'm not going to lie to you. He's there. We're not trying to deceive you. This isn't a story to,
Yeah.
you know, to trick you. It's the story of
Mhm.
how do we get to Gannon. And I don't know, I can just appreciate you build that trust. And I think eventually she really did get on board.
Well, and they always say that, well, and obviously she's not a serial killer, but she
Right.
does seem to have an antisocial personality disorder or something like that, where she fits in with the big guns. She fits in with the big guys. Let's just admit it. She's like a natural profiler herself. She's one of those people who can look at you and see what you need, how to manipulate you,
Yeah.
how to say exactly what to say to get you to do what you want or
She's
what
been
she
doing it
wants,
since
you
she's
know?
been 16 years old. When she moved
Exactly.
out of whatever situation she lived in, she has many, many years of deceiving people or to think about or to make you believe what she wants you to believe to get her way. It's-
Yeah, I loved that he built a rapport with her early on.
Yeah,
He started it right away, and it felt natural by the time he got to the harder questions, you know?
right, right.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yes, uh, Emmy Aiello, yes, she is very frustrating. Oh, look, the divine Mrs. Jones is from Wales. Do you think that she is not looking at the courtroom for the same reason she didn't look at the camera in her earlier interview? Where is she looking? I can't see.
The
Um,
table, her hair in front of her face like this freaking.
no, she is not. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah,
the,
Nancy Moon, yes, she was fishing for information from him, and he saw right through it every time.
wow.
Uh, Amy, no, I really believe that they didn't think that they'd find the suitcase. She thought it would be in the Gulf of Mexico so she could continue with her Quincy Brown story that it was in Mexico that something happened.
Yep. And
And
then if it was found in Mexico, well, hey, look, I told you it
I
was supposed
told
to be
you,
in
yeah,
Mexico.
but
Yeah,
she's a dumbass and sunk them right under a bridge that didn't have a lot of water.
exactly. To go back to that, I do think it's for this. I think it's for the same reasons, Mrs. Jones. I think she's not looking because I think she's bored. I don't think it's for any other reason. I don't think she's embarrassed. I don't think she's being overwhelmed with feelings. I don't think it's any of that. Whatever, whatever, whatever. She says that all the time, makes me crazy. I think she's
Yada,
bored.
yada, yada.
Yada yada yada. That's right, Carol Hearn. I think she's bored.
Yeah.
Where's Erica Wells? We are missing a Erica. Calling Erica Wells. We're missing Erica Wells.
It's Friday. Maybe she's sitting
Yes,
in front of the pool too.
maybe, maybe. Yeah, maybe she is trying to look crazy in the courtroom. I don't know. My friend, um, Emmy, Emmy, who has DID, is going to come on our live. She was going to come on today, but I call her they because she has many personalities inside of her. They had an incident today with their boyfriend, and so they're really struggling right now. So it was really kind of traumatic. So she could not
Okay.
come on today, but she really does want to come on. She was texting me. We were texting all day, and she was watching the trial. She has so many very good thoughts about this. Particularly, I'll share one, and I think she can expand on it more. Um, she said that there was a time when an alter did something rude to the boyfriend and one of the other alters. And when she came out, she just started sobbing and crying. She was so sad and so upset that this alter had been like mean and
Yeah.
rude to the boyfriend.
So
And
she's
so
regretful. Yeah.
yes. And so she said if she had, DID, and she had this system of people in there, she should have still be able to have a system of morals and still have regret and still be sitting there sobbing and crying because one of them in there killed a child.
Oh, for
She should
sure.
still, right, she should still be able to have that. So she said that above all is missing. No matter what, that is missing.
Right.
So, but there were other things. There were many, many other things. She talked about, in the interviews, the interview, how it was a high stress, well, should be a high stress situation, and there didn't seem to be any switching of personalities. And she didn't mention any missing time, any lost memories.
Nope.
Um, Never once has Leticia Stauch said to anyone, not to Al, not to Harley, not to her brother, not to this Agent Grusing, not yet. None of those people testified that she lost a chunk of time. And her brother should have been able to account for that because if she had DID, it should have started younger, right? So he should have been able to say, yes, yeah, this happened to her, yeah, all the time. We would just not be able to find her, and then she would come back and make up some excuse. Oh, I don't know where I was.
Right.
Because usually, usually people with DID aren't believed at first, right?
Right.
Oh, right, like you don't know where you were. Of course, you know where you were, right?
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
and then she didn't say anything to this agent or to anyone else about losing chunks of time, about missing time or lost memories or not knowing. And the whole thing with Gannon, all of these stories that she's told, and this one that she wants to tell him so bad, but she needs help for. She doesn't seem to have any memory loss about it, you know. So,
Right.
but she's gonna come on Monday. She explains it so much better than I do.
Oh, well, I'm excited. I hope to see her on
Oh,
Monday. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
she's educated and she's very she explains DID and the idea of it being a system of people that have to work together. She explains it a lot better than I do. So, and she did agree to come on panel. So you won't have to just listen to Kim and I talk. You will get to actually be entertained by someone who can really explain stuff.
I agree. I think it's Amy. I don't think she ever thought they'd find this suitcase. I don't think they'd ever thought they would find the suitcase as well. And Jeannie, I'm excited for her to join on Monday. I hope she does. That'd be good. I call Leticia every name in the book that I cannot repeat on YouTube. No, I understand that. Every time I hear her talk,
Yeah,
it's every word she says is so self-serving.
it's always her. And
It's always about her. It
sometimes
wasn't.
I wonder, I honestly wonder, like, oh, yes, Nancy, I will thank her in advance. I will let her know. She actually thanked us for the opportunity, so to come on and talk. Sometimes I wonder where things come from her because she made up a whole "there's kids in my car" when kids weren't in her car.
Yeah,
Where did
and she
that
picked
come
up a
from?
pregnant woman. Where did she
Oh,
pick up
that
a?
just
And
oh
then the pregnant woman was it, and I had to deliver money for a package, and
to
oh
the
my
Mexican
god,
restaurants, and I refused.
it hurt my brain. I'm like,
Oh,
do you know how stupid you sound? You sound like a freaking suburban
yeah,
woman explaining what she's seen on freaking Netflix.
on
Like,
wheels.
no. Yes. Everybody sees through your nonsense. What?
Yes, Tina Powers. She kept saying that Gannon is just like me. First, she said it early on when she talked about personalities, how they didn't fight because they're kind of like, she kind of described them both, how When they got mad, they would get over it quickly and just kind of let it go. And then
Right.
even down to their stomach issues, they were just alike. It was always Gannon is just like me. Did that tie into the 18 stab wounds? Was she killing herself? I mean, I don't
I,
know. I don't know,
I
but
don't know
yeah,
either. Yeah.
right. Yeah, right. And what will she say when they found him? Well, and I'm wondering if we'll see that. I hope we'll see that because this interview took place on March 17th, and they had not found him yet. So because she got arrested before they found him, so yeah, I'm not sure if we'll get to see her finding out. It may just be that she finds out when she's in jail. So we may not get that part, sadly. I really hope we do. I'm not sure. What do you think, Kim? Do you think we'll get that part when they
I
tell her
They
they
found
found?
him.
Yeah,
I don't know. She's so cunning. I don't know. I don't know if she'll just say, I don't know anything about it. That's what I suspect, that she'll just play like, oh, they took him and that's what they did to him after. I know nothing about it. Or she'll be like, yeah, I saw that, but I couldn't disappoint Al. Or it's, play
yeah.
that card. I don't know.
Oh, it's always about Al.
It's always about Al. Like, if there's anybody in the world
Oh,
she cared about, it was Al. And he was a
March
good guy, I get it, but
March 2nd, Nancy Mooney. I'm sorry, it was March 2nd. I'm sorry. I thought it was March. I thought she got arrested March 17th. I'm so sorry. I had my days off. I'm telling you what, I have so many numbers and dates and digits in this book.
oh my gosh. I
It's,
I pull
ugh,
I always pull up the timeline so I can understand what point we're at, because that actually really does help because
I
I'm
lost my timeline.
oh, yeah, no, there's like a detailed timeline and I'm like, okay, when was this? And so that really helps because like everybody mentioned, do you think she's going to change her story?
Yeah,
She hasn't so far. Is as far as being a today, she said the less of all the interviews, like less
right.
stories. The fact that he was kidnapped at Petco and followed him back to Petco, and Al's like, "Oh, if you thought somebody was following you, why did
Why'd
you
you, why'd you
leave
leave him
again?" And
alone?
yeah,
Right?
why'd you leave him? And because nobody's seen him. He was laying down.
Yeah, right. They didn't know he
Uh,
was in there.
yeah, she's so full of beep. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Well, and she said originally too, what was it she said? Oh, I felt like I was gonna be one of those women that I went in a store and I came out and my child was gone.
Yeah.
And then what does she do? She makes it be that story, which I'm sorry, but and I said this to my husband, I've said it 20 million times. I'm pretty sure that Petco had cameras or someone. Petco's usually in a shopping center, so someone in the shopping center had cameras, or the gas station on the store had cameras, or the light, there were cameras.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we haven't seen so far. So I'm wondering if they will bring those up. I want to know if she was standing in line and texting with Gannon's phone, because
Oh
at
yeah,
the timestamps of when she was in the store and when the messages were being sent,
yep,
I'm wondering if we won't see Gannon with his phone, but rather Leticia standing in line and texting. I hope. Fingers crossed, because that will nail her to the wall. Like, look,
well
cat's
because
out of the bag. We see you texting on Gannon's phone, and it wasn't him. So,
right,
what
well
happened?
because Al said it. He said, "I know those texts that came from his phone were not from him."
Not from him. Yeah.
Yeah, and when your kid texts you or when your wife texts you, you know, you know the language, you know the verbiage. People know.
If he's in pain, he's not going to text, "Can I at least play on my Switch?" He's in
Yeah.
pain, he's bleeding. He's picking his wounds as you explain it, but they're nothing, but they
Yeah.
are something. He's bleeding all over the place, but it wasn't that bad. He's not going to text, "Can I play on my Twitch?" Like, he's going to be like, "Can you please take me to the freaking hospital? I'm dying." You know?
Right.
Like, come
Right.
on.
Make up your mind. Is it, is it bleeding so much that the blood got all over the walls, but then you both cleaned it up together, or did it not bleed very much because the burns weren't, they weren't a big deal. I mean,
Right.
one day it's one thing, and one day it's the next, the other day it's the next, and then she tells him, and I loved how he said, she said that they stayed up all night because there was the fire and they couldn't breathe, which once again they couldn't breathe, but she let him go downstairs. That made me so mad, because actually Harley backed that part up, that it was
Yeah.
smoky and it was freezing down there, and Gannon was down there alone by himself.
Yep.
Everybody else was upstairs. And
Right.
but then she says, he said to her, well, and she said, I'm sure that when Lena went to school the next day, she was probably exhausted. And he was like, why didn't you keep Lena home? And there was a pause, and I was like, yeah, exactly. Why didn't you keep Lena home? Exactly. Why just
Because
Gannon?
you
Oh,
didn't like Gannon and you
yep.
had already killed him. I think he wasn't dead though. I got messages, like offline messages. Do you think he was dead that day? No, because that was Sunday, and on Monday he's seen walking out to the car when she called him into school. He was still alive on Monday. Regardless of what happened on Sunday, did she stab him and he didn't pass, and she said, "Come on, I'm going to take you to the hospital and get you fixed up," and he's laying in the back seat, whatever.
Yeah.
They did so far they haven't described any blood in the truck, but they have on the Tiguan. They said at the end of today that they found blood in the back, and she's like, "Oh, no, no, that's because he cut his foot on a piece of wood and I washed it down with water, but I didn't want to ruin it, so I didn't use soap." And
Yeah.
so she's trying to explain the blood in her Tiguan by his foot, and they're like, "It was too much blood." And she's like, "I didn't want to
Right.
ruin his wood." Yeah.
And if it was bleeding so much, then and I had a thought about that, the particle board, right? Particle board and the Tiguan. Do you remember when Al said he was talking to her about that particle board they found up there? And I loved how she kept freaking out about those searches. She was like, they're looking in the wrong place. They're looking in the wrong place, which was funny because they were finding things. And I was like, oh, well, they found particle board that was at our house, and they found socks that were at our house. And he's going on and on. But the thing was, the particle board made me think of something. He said, when you left with the Tiguan, there's a bunch of wood in the back, right? Okay.
Right.
So what if, do you remember we talked about she took the rental car to go get Gannon? We thought that the police had the Tiguan.
Right.
They have the Tiguan then?
No. On what day?
Okay, when she went to get Gannon, they had already taken the Tiguan, right?
Right.
They were at the hotel. Okay.
Yeah.
I think she kept the particle board. I think she kept it in with her stuff to put in the bottom of the Tiguan, the bottom of the Altima in the trunk, to make sure it didn't get any blood or bodily fluids or anything on it, because it's a rental car.
Right.
She couldn't. So think about it. She puts that board down, then puts a suitcase on it. We know that fluids leaked out of the suitcase in the budget truck. They would have leaked in that rental car and have not talked about that. And I think it's because she put that particle board down there.
Oh,
That's,
could be.
I think that's why she had the particle board, because think about it. You think you're going to go pick up a dead body with a suitcase. You might, and it's been up there, you might think that it's decomposing and it's got bodily fluids, at the very least blood, right? Because
Right.
blood had come out because he'd been shot and stabbed. So if you're going to put it in a rental car, you want to make sure nothing gets in the rental car. So you put that particle board down, then
Right.
like in the trunk, and then you put the suitcase down. Maybe that's why.
It could be. It could be. That makes sense. If you want to if you want to protect evidence, then or defend yourself against evidence, I don't know. But why
Yeah.
did she just throw it out? Do you think she accidentally dropped it or she purposely?
I don't think. Yeah, I think she accident. Well, she might have. I was thinking it was accidental, but she could have purposely tossed it there, thinking no one on earth is gonna think to look here.
Yeah,
There's no reason for anyone to come here. Here I am. I'm in the Altima. No one knows I'm here. This has nothing to do with the day Gannon went missing. Why would they come here?
right,
She didn't know that they had a GPS on the Altima.
right.
So yeah,
That
I
makes
don't know.
sense.
Maybe she just,
She's
I
she's
don't
way
know.
smarter and cunning
Let's see.
than we gave her
Who are
credit
you saying
for.
we see who on Monday?
Who? What?
What?
Somebody asked, do you think he was dead on Sunday, the day we seen him in his bed? But no, we seen him on that Monday. That was a Sunday picture, and we seen him on Monday. So
Yeah.
at
There
least
was
the
there
neighbors
were
cam.
there were questions at first that made it seem like maybe. Because I
But
thought at first
yeah,
too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought for sure he's dead. She took the picture to
To
like,
prove
oh,
he's alive,
yeah,
and
prove
yeah,
he's alive. Yeah, I really did. But then he was seen on the camera. But Kim, you said we seen him on Monday. Oh, you were talking about okay, I got you. I thought you were talking about a witness was coming up on Monday. I'm like, who's coming up on Monday? I thought it was Mark Rusing on Monday.
oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It's
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
good on Monday. I love hearing him talk.
Don't you worry, I'm gonna get his number for you, not a problem.
He's been married for 45 years, has 45 kids.
Oh, come on. No. Just because he lives in Colorado does not mean that he subscribes to the church that makes a lot of babies. It doesn't mean.
Probably does so. Oh, of
Yeah.
course I wish she would have been followed by a pregnant lady story. Actually, Dead Barbarian, I agree. I wish there was more to the story than her just being a
Right?
complete monster and sending them in circles. And always, always hanging that carrot in front of everybody's face. I'll tell you, but I need this.
Yeah.
I need this. And
She
it's
gave
like,
so much of the Aguardo and she gave so much to the Quincy Brown. It would have been nice if she gave more to the pregnant lady story because it was interesting. You're right, Deborah Barry, and I was like, wait, there's a not pregnant lady. I'm ready. Let's go.
yeah,
This phone call just got interesting.
pretty much. Pretty much. That's exactly how I felt. It was like, oh, okay, a news story that maybe there's some half truth in, but it was all jumblish. And then she gave up on it, like really quick, though.
Yeah. And she was done. That was it. Yeah, like, I'm going to float that out there. What do you think about that?
And then she told the CSI guy, don't tell Al what we talk about. And he's like, don't worry, I'm not going to tell him anything. Bitch, you're going on trial. Everybody's going to know what you've done.
Every single person in the world. Oh, yes. Deborah Brain. It was Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. That's who was in the vehicle.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Yes. Poor Zenaida. She just does everything, doesn't she? She does the most. Okay.
Always.
Yes.
Plugged in yet?
Okay, hang on. Yeah. Hang on one second.
Zananda Lopez. Zanny the nanny.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I gotta plug in my phone here. It thinks it's dying. Poor baby. It just thinks it's dying. It's not really dying. I did send you a text real quick though, Ken. All right, let me pull my notes back up here. What else? Because there's so much more. And yes, I did like it. The times when Al got to go off on her because it felt like Al really needed, and I wish somebody would have given Al one phone call where he got to say everything he thought.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I
Because
think about
he knows
this,
he
what I
knows
think
her
about this.
better than all of us.
Yes. I think I'm gonna go back and listen to his testimony again now that we've heard what she did. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just to see what he had to say originally, because yeah, I mean I was listening, but I can't remember what he said, but yeah, I just know that he needs an award or something, anything. Yeah, she was not, was she really reading the Bible in the courtroom? Can anybody verify that? Oh my goodness. No, she cannot pull a Daryl Brooks on us. No, no, no. No. Grounds.
Groans.
Sustained. He would say that grounds for the substained. Relevancy, Your Honor. No. No, tell me she was not. Oh boy. Well, it is the only book she has access to, so there's that. Prisoners are supposed to be able to have books if they're sent in from the actual publishing house. I don't know if anybody knows this, but you can't just ship a book to a prisoner. You have to order it from the publishing house and have it sent in. But a lot of prisons right now aren't even accepting that. They're not even accepting regular books. They're also not accepting mail. Some of them aren't even accepting mail, which is weird. So I have a friend. He's a good guy. Who turned himself in to take care of some bad stuff that he did, and he got 60 days, which was brilliant because he could have gotten like 64 years. So, but they weren't even given mail. Like his wife was writing him letters, and no, the jail wasn't giving mail. It's post COVID. A lot of things changed. They didn't want things from the outside. They didn't want paper coming in. They would scan it and give it to him electronically. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, I can. Yeah, I can bet that it's probably the only book she has access to.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think she was reading anything. I think she may be faking she's reading the Bible, but she's taking a nap. She's bored. She doesn't give a heck about any of it. Her attorneys are bored. They just pan the camera on them and they all look miserable. Like,
Yeah,
I've heard
true.
this 1,000 times.
It's true. Hang on one second.
I'm actually curious about one thing was, okay, read it. Hey, pay to hear a phone call with Al would go off on the defendant. Oh my gosh. Nancy, I would love to hear him tell her exactly what he thinks about her whole garbage story. Because if anybody has heard so many BS stories, it's him. Like I can't even keep him straight. And he's just like, okay, tell me more. He just really wanted her to talk. And it was just all like, ugh. It's not even close to the truth. Every story she told. And it was funny because he's like yawning. She's telling him a story today and he started like yawning and she's like, and then they pause and she's like, okay, there was a pregnant woman. And I'm like, what the? What? He knew he was letting her know I'm bored of your stories. And she's like, okay, I got to come up with something else. And then this pregnant lady came in. I'm just like, oh my God, everybody can see through. Oh my god, it was unbelievable.
Yep, yep, I got it. Yeah, it looks like Elise was talking about the same thing that she said that her father was in for 18 years, and even sending pictures of his grandkids with touch and go. Say one wrong word or show too much skin, like too much, like send an inch or whatever in the wrong way. And yeah, prisons are really crazy about mail, and also you can't send actually the paper, like some, like literally they will tell you you can only send 3 pages, you can only write on the front, and like they'll tell you there are literally words you can't put. It's crazy. You should see it. I've actually seen where they tell you the words you can use, the words you can't use, because there are some cases that I've covered where I have written to the bad guy to get information. And yeah, you really have to go and look, and sometimes you just can't, you can't do it. The jail's like, nope, we're not accepting any mail, sorry,
Right. Which
no
is
mail for
crazy.
you, right?
I was way off. They just threw a random objection to say they're earning their money. I agree, Amy. They were honestly, it was like, okay, I'm getting paid to be here. Maybe I should just stand up and object to absolutely nothing. That whole waste of time.
Yep, yep.
Hey guys, I wanted to let you know that on my community post, I put a post out there for Jeannie, our favorite host here, who's going through a hard time. And, you know, her friend started it for her. And so, as much to Jeannie's dismay, she has to accept help when she needs it. So, I put it out there if you guys want to contribute. If you don't, that's fine. If you don't find it within your means, it's totally fine. But you know,
Thank you,
I-
Miss Kim. Yes, it's a GoFundMe that Miss Elise, thank you, Elise, decided to start for us. And yeah, some people, I know that people on here, I'm not gonna call your names out, but I'm not gonna, yeah, embarrass anybody, but people have already donated, and it's very, very, very appreciated. Y'all are lovely, lovely people. Lovely. Okay, I don't want to talk about it anymore. So that's it. That's all I'm saying.
well, we love you, Jeannie. We want you to be okay.
Okay, alrighty. Yes, Mooney. It's temporary. My husband and son got fired at the same time, so no money coming in. So money issues. But we will get past it, and we will persevere, and we'll move on. And we don't have to listen to any more phone calls of Leticia Stauch. So there you go. See, life is getting better.
If I never hear, you have to tell the story about your husband earlier.
Oh, I said to him, okay, so when you get back, I'm going to need to go to urgent care. And I do have some health issues, and sometimes I need to go to the doctor. And he goes, okay. And he's putting his shoes on, and he was like, okay, what's going on? And I said, my ears will be bleeding because I will be listening to yet another call. So I think we need to sue the state of Colorado. And he was just shaking his head at me and laughing at me. But yes. I said, I thought I was going to have to go to urgent care because, yeah.
But I can tell you today was a lot better than listening to 3-hour conversations. It was nice to get like a break, a conversation about what they talked about. Let's skip to here because I thought it was going to be 5 painful hours of her just talking, but it wasn't, which I was so grateful for.
Oh, right, exactly. I love that they brought him in and they had, they would take it, they do interruptions like a little bit here. Okay, and what
Yeah.
did you think about this?
This,
Oh,
yeah. Explain your
stunning.
strategy behind that. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm eating my food. That's why I haven't been on screen.
Yes, Miss Nancy, you can go to her community page, I think. I was trying to type that and then my YouTube page just shut down. So there you go. But it's on Kim's community page. What are you eating, Kim? I need to know.
It's It's called Passy Thai tofu. I don't know, but
Oh
I can.
no! Did you say tofu?
Yeah.
Oh no! You're out of here. Nope. Nope. I'm
Oh my
kicking
gosh.
Slim off her own live. That's it. She's out of here.
It's
Nope.
so good. It's so good. I always question the beef. I don't know if that's beef or squirrel. So I always get the tofu because I know that I'm actually getting some kind of protein and not something weird. People try to save money in LA. I'm like, I'm not ordering any meat that I don't know what it is. Look, I'm not even paranoid here on true crime. I'm paranoid of restaurants too.
Oh my gosh! Some kind of squirrel. Some kind
They
of
eat that.
squirrel.
I don't know. People
They
eat
do.
squirrels.
Do they in California?
They gotta save money where they can.
I mean, I don't think we're talking about a third world country. We're talking about never mind. We are talking.
Nancy,
about
I love tofu too. I love tofu. Tofu is good. At least I know what it is. It's not some mystery meat. Maybe it is a mystery meat, but I'm accepting of it.
Maybe.
Broccoli, noodles.
Well, I'll get behind the broccoli and noodles part. That part I can do. Okay. All right, I will get behind the broccoli and noodles part. Okay, all right. That I can do. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to pull something up here. This is not working. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. California is expensive. Good Lord. I order food.
I've been there, but wow. Did that work? It did.
Oh,
there you go. Nancy, there's a link. Mooney, there's a link right there. Okay. For anybody who wants it, there's a link right there in the middle. I did it, at least. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So yeah, when I visited, it was always on vacation. My husband and I took our we actually met in California. We were both there for first time we physically met. We were both there for like a trip, a convention of some sorts. A party. We were there for a party. Party.
I love how you cleaned it up for a convention. He's like, a party.
No, it was a party. It was a whole weekend of parties. Several hundred people from all over the world. And that's where we met. So for our for our honeymoon, my mom and dad paid for us to go back there. Of course, we took our son, who was like 2 by then, and we went back to the same party because it was happening again. So we did take a babysitter. So nobody needs to worry about that. One night I went to the party, and the next night the babysitter went to the party because the babysitter wanted to go to a party too. So one night I stayed with Logan, and one night the babysitter stayed with Logan. So there you go. So anyway, yeah, because everybody needed to know that. But the point was, California was expensive. And I will tell you that we were in the parking lot of the what is it called, with the elephants sinking into the Brea Tar Pits. We were in the parking lot of the Brea Tar Pits, which is also, at the time, was also linked to the parking lot of the SAG office, the Screen Actors Guild, right?
Okay.
And so there we are. And we're getting out to go into the Brea Tar Pits, and an actor that I was really, really obsessed with gets out of his car, and he's walking into the SAG building. And I'm like, oh my God, Mike, look who it is, let's go meet him. And he won't do it. He won't.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, look, it's not like we're interrupting him eating his lunch. He's just walking into the SAG office. All I want to do is go say hi. And at this point, my voice is going that high. Like, all I want to do is go say hi.
You're a teenage girl.
I turned into a teenage girl. You bet I did. But no, we didn't. It was I don't know if anybody ever watched the show Profiler, but it was the guy who was the serial killer. He played Jack of all trades. And it was him. And I was like freaking out in the car. It's Jack of all trades, it's Jack of all trades. So yeah, that's what
Oh
we
my
did
gosh.
on our honeymoon. We went to the La Brea Tar Pits, and instead of seeing Jack of all trades, we saw the elephants. And I have never let him live that down.
Oh,
Ever. Yeah, oh yeah. And there we were at Mel's Diner, and it was right before one of the Star Wars. It was right before. It was in between the two of the newer Star Wars, and there's Hayden Christensen, who is going to play Darth Vader, and we know this. And he's eating his lunch, and while he's eating his lunch, the whole time I'm at my husband. You need to go meet him. You need to go meet him. You need to go meet him. Because my husband is a huge Star Wars fan. You need to go meet him. No, I can't do that. He's eating his lunch, and I tell him, at some point he's going to stop eating. At some point, he's going to get up and pay. At some point, he's even going to walk out of this building. At some point, his lunch is going to be over, and then you can meet him. I didn't eat because I sat there for a good 20 minutes trying to talk my husband into doing it.
oh my gosh. Did he do it?
Honeymoon. Did
You
not.
what?
Did not.
He didn't.
Did-
You never want
Did
to.
not happen. Did not.
Yeah, you don't want to ever interrupt anybody while they're at their meal, but when they get up and walk
No.
out, it's game on.
They're getting right.
Right.
I was like,
If they
after
don't
that-
have people coming up to them, they're irrelevant, and they need to remember that.
right, and that's what I was saying to him. He's brand new. He's getting ready to be Darth Vader. He hadn't been Darth Vader yet. At some point, you're not going to be able to walk into Mel's and just see him because he's going to be surrounded by a gaggle of people. You know,
Right.
But no, we didn't get to. So
Nah.
there you go. But I did notice that California was expensive, but I loved it there. I love LA.
It's
I have to
beautiful.
say it. I freaking love LA. I just do. I don't know why, but it felt like home when I went there.
Aw.
It really did. I traveled everywhere, and I remember I had a job to do there that week that him and I met, and I went there, and I flew there, and I go and I get my rental car, and I'm driving to my hotel because I'm there to work in a credit union. It's when I worked on computers. I traveled for my work, and I'm driving, and you know I have like a map and directions, and I was just like, it felt like I was just home, and I was just driving. Yeah, it was weird. And I had been everywhere. I had been all over the United States. I'd done this all the time. You show up, you get to an airport, you get a, rental car, you drive to a hotel. I had done this everywhere. It just, yeah. Maybe it was because you were there. Who knows? It might have been. Maybe that's why. Please tell it. Please tell what? What am I supposed to tell Tina Powers? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to end it here. I'm exhausted. I'm sweaty. I'm sunburned.
Yes, Jess Allen. I do mean the TV series Profiler with Ali Walker. Exactly that one. And it was Jack of all trades, and I did not get to meet him. And my husband will never, ever, ever live that down. Okay, so anything else before Kim goes nighty-night? Anything? Anybody? You guys have been great tonight. There was a lot of you tonight. Yeah.
I appreciate everybody for being here. Love you guys.
Yes.
And I'm interested to hear more of my boyfriend's testimony.
Yes, I will get that number. You watch. You watch.
And we'll pick up where we left off on Monday. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
Okay.
Love you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.